ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Hi everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Natasha, and this channel is a family life vlog as well as a homeschool vlog. And I like to share things that I'm passionate about as well as things that we do together as a family. I've shared in the past that I love to cook. It's really one of my passions. And I've had a few cook with me videos. But this video is not a cook with me video. What I thought I would do is share 7 days of dinners with my family. Now, what I had wanted to do was share with you 7 typical dinners that we might have. However, as I've shared in the past, I don't like to meal plan. I liked the creativity of just deciding what to make from day to day, and I didn't like sticking to a plan. I do like to plan a lot of other things, but when it came to meals, I didn't enjoy meal planning. So because I didn't meal plan, this past 7 days turned out to be quite atypical of our 7 days of what we would eat in a week. But I do try to make our dinner time special because as I've shared in the past, we do tend to eat together as a family. And so it's an enjoyable time for us to sit together. We all love to eat. And we all, it's a great time to be together as a family and to talk and just to enjoy our time together. So I do like to make enjoyable meals. Now, this past week was a little different. For starters, we recently got 2 guinea pigs for our daughter Olivia, and we've been trying to introduce different vegetables to them. And one of those was kale, which it turned out they didn't like too much. And so we had a big bunch of kale that I had to get rid of somehow. And so in 2 of our meals, we've used kale. Now, kale is not a typical vegetable that we do eat. I might have bought it once, maybe twice in the past. I remember trying to make kale chips one time, but it's not something we typically use. I didn't have any recipes, so I just made it up and made something to go along with the kale. We do have a few meals that are our favorites that I usually make once a week, but or every 2 weeks. And it just turned out I didn't make those meals this past 7 days. So this is not typical. Maybe in the future I'll make another video that turns out to be more typically like how we eat. But follow along, see what we've had, and let me know what you think. That's a meatloaf.
What's for dinner?
Meatloaf.
Yeah, and
Some potatoes.
potatoes.
And I'm gonna grill some vegetables.
Yo! It's like it's a Thanksgiving dinner.
It is.
Yum!
You're a funny girl. Meatloaf is one of those dishes that I don't typically make. I may have made it a handful of times since I've been married, but I was thawing out some ground meat on this morning and was initially planning on making some rice and ground beef, something that I make often when I can't really think of what to make. And suddenly meatloaf came to my mind, and then I thought, let's grill some vegetables. And we'd been eating a lot of rice lately, and so I thought, let's make some potatoes instead. So I grilled the vegetables with some parsley, salt, pepper. I sprinkled olive oil and just gave it a toss and put that in the oven to grill. I've got the meatloaf already in there. Here's where I just saved my scraps for our guinea pigs. We give them all their leftover vegetable scraps. And after boiling the potatoes, I just tossed them in some olive oil and also roasted them in the oven. And there's the finished product. I think it was quite tasty. I think everybody enjoyed it that day. And then on this day, this is one of the days where I needed to do something with kale. This is some bulgur wheat that I have soaking and chickpeas boiling. I chopped up some garlic. There's some cucumber that's chopped up, kale in the bowl, salt and pepper. I put in the chickpeas. We've put in some, I believe, olive oil and some, I think it's coming up here. Oh yeah, there's some olive oil. And that's where I'm adding some salt. I also added some dried mint, just to give it some extra flavor, and some lemon juice. I normally squeeze fresh lemons, but on this day we just had the bottled lemon juice, which we don't typically use a whole lot. And that's what it looked like. And I just had some leftover appetizers from New Year's Eve. I added that. This was a meal that I had just for me and the kids. And then this was another dish where I had to do something with kale. I was kind of craving a stew, so we chopped up some potatoes, some garlic, some onions, chopped up some kale. I already had some chunks of beef left over from a previous, frozen beef, but I had split it in half and decided to use the second half in this stew. So there's some beef already stewing for quite a while in the pot. And then I'm just going to add the chopped up kale. This might be something we'd normally use spinach or even bok choy. I decided to put kale instead. And I like to have stew or like a chunky soup over some steamed rice. That's how we had it when I was growing up when I was a kid. This is the finished product of the stew. We also put some lemon juice in it after we were done on our plate. We just love things to be a little bit citrusy and lemony. And the steamed rice. And there's the finished product. Everybody really liked it. It reminded them of a dish that my dad made when I was growing up. On this day, we made some nachos with some leftover Tostito chips from New Year's Eve that I was worried we wouldn't be able to finish in time. And I just made some ground beef with some taco seasoning and some other toppings. This would have been better with some chopped up fresh tomatoes, but I didn't happen to have any on hand. But it turned out quite nice. Everyone loved it and finished their plates. So in my intro, I mentioned that we didn't get a chance to do any of our typical favorites. I, in the end, decided to add this in. So I cooked this the day after the 7 days, and I took out a pasta that I had actually made in that week and added this instead. We call this special rice. I've made this before in a previous video. It's made with basmati rice, and I just boil some dried lentil beans and mung beans, fry some onions with some turmeric. That's the finished lentils and mung beans, and the onions, you caramelize them. Make the basmati rice, and once it's all done, it gets tossed together. You need to be gentle so that you don't break the basmati rice. And when it's finished, it'll look something like this. And we eat this rice with a salad on the side, usually tomatoes and onions, and also some yogurt, which I've sprinkled with some dried mint. This is one of our favorites, and we do have this about once every week. Another one of our favorites is homemade pizza. Now this is something that I have worked on for years, and I feel that I have finally mastered. I make a large batch, so it actually lasts us for quite a long time, and I wrap them up in the fridge with saran wrap and just pull out a ball of dough whenever we feel like making a quick pizza. It's a nice quick meal, and we all love it. I put the pizza dough in a bowl wrapped with saran wrap and cover it with a towel and leave it alone for a few hours to let the dough rise. When the dough has risen, I punch it down to let out some of the gas or air. There we go. This turned out a little stickier than it normally would be, but the stretchiness and that consistency was still perfect, and it turned out really well. So I flatten out the dough into a nice big long rectangle. And then you roll it all up into a nice long log. You're going to cut the dough into sections, and I make enough for about 4 pizzas, so there's 4 sections. I'm then going to flatten each section into a disc. And then I'm going to roll each disc into a ball again. You make it a nice round smooth ball. I'll do that to all 4. And then I'm going to cover that again with paper towel and another dish towel on top of that and let it rise again for about another half hour. They've risen quite a bit. I don't know if you can tell in the camera. Then I'm going to go ahead and make my pizza. So I first flatten it down with my hand. And the way I make pizza, and I believe the proper way, although I don't know how to spin it in the air like those professionals do, you stretch it by hand and it stretches nice and easily. It's not hard. You do it slowly. You don't want to tear any holes in the dough, but it stretches very easily and it keeps its shape. It actually, if you let it hang, it'll just stretch itself, but then it might start stretching too thin on one side. So you just kind of keep going. This is what I do anyway. Go around and around in a circle. I put it in the pan, and then I'm just going to brush some olive oil around the edge of the crust just so it gets nice and crispy. I put my sauce and then cheese. I found by putting the cheese on first, the toppings don't all slide off afterwards.
Only gave me the fry.
My little helper Olivia loves to decorate the pizzas. Now we do a lot of different toppings, but this one's our typical meat pizza. And here it is finished out of the oven. I find cutting the pizza with kitchen scissors works so much better than the pizza cutter. And here's just one single slice. With the scissors you get a nice clean cut and you're not pulling and tearing off all the toppings. And here again was not a typical day. It was my daughter's 7th birthday. And she decided she wanted hot dogs to be her special lunch. We don't eat hot dogs regularly. We find we don't eat processed foods that often or foods that are high in nitrates, but she really wanted hot dogs, and so this was her special birthday lunch. Hot dogs, Olivia picked out hot dogs to eat.
Look at mine.
Ooh.
Got everything. Look at mine.
Olivia wanted hot dogs for her birthday lunch.
Yep.
She picked it all by herself.
Yummy.
Okay. Mommy, there's yours.
Don't touch the can. Light the happy birthday sign too.
Like they have fire.
Here, am I gonna catch fire?
Because of a current lockdown, we have family members on video chat so they can sing happy birthday to Olivia.
Okay.
Hey, 1, 2, 3.
3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Olivia. Happy birthday to you. Are you 1? Are you 2? Are you 3? Are you 4? Are you 5? Are you 6? Are you 7? So that's all I have for you today. If you have any favorite meals, quick favorite meals that you love and enjoy, please comment and share them with me down below. I love trying out new things. I'm really excited about trying new dishes. I really am. And so sometimes I can't come up with something new, so please share what you might have, which you commonly have that your family loves and enjoys. I love, making big fancy meals, but of course, as busy moms and a homeschool mom, we don't have a lot of time to spend cooking in the kitchen, as much as I'd even love to do that. So if the quicker the meal, the simpler the meal, the better. Share it down below. Let me know. I'd love to see what you have in store in your recipe book. But that's all I have. Again, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.